say, I tell them grow up. When they try to bring us down, we only go up. We tell them that we in their city, everybody shows up. Oh man, boy, we are the glowed up.
Hey guys, yes I know, let's ignore the whole not posting thing, alright? Today's look is a creepy looking disguise under a sunset mandala look, so let's get into how I did this. My skin is bad, I know, I pick it and I shouldn't. Anyway, we're starting out with the sunset base. This is pretty straightforward and I did mess it up, but I lay down a gradient of the sunset colours from my head to chest, blue to yellow. I started out with purple, but I do go over my forehead with blue. I'm using Global and Mehron water activated colours for this and have made sure that none of these reflect brightly under UV light. I'm using some metallics from Mehron, but they reflect some of the UV, not glow. My advice for blending the colours is try to blend the light colour to the dark and use a clean wet brush where it needs. But these don't need to be super duper blended because I wanted a little more interest to the look, a little more galaxiness to match the headdress that I was rocking, so I'm splattering on more paint. I also quickly add more colour to the red-yellow blend. The paint from Mehron I used is more of a pink base, so it makes some pretty dull oranges. So I blend over NYX's Double Dare HD blush for some orange and HD Crimson blush for a more true bright red under the red section. I tried highlighting with this Chi pigment, but it didn't quite like it, so I ended up using some Clown White from Nye to highlight the areas of my face that I wanted highlighted. Then using the throb Avante Pop palette from NYX and the purple, black and blue shades in it, I do some contouring. And I also define the outer crease of my eye bag and eye. Then I start filling in my brows. But then I realised, with the monster eye illusion, it would be better to try and cover the tail of my brows with glue, so I do that. Back to the splatter, and you can do this with a normal brush, a toothbrush, anything that really works. I believe I'm using some kind of hair dressing brush for this. I'm not sure where I found it, but I love it for this. Then I go back to filling in my brows and my lids for the beauty look or the eyes of the UV monster. I'm using the metallic pink from the Mehron Brilliant palette for this, and we're going to use neon pink from Global later over this. Now I added a bunch of mandalas for interest of the beauty look. Basically just follow mandala designs you like and add little designs of petals, dots, leaf shapes, whatever you think looks good. I used the Mehron White Paradise paint for this. I sometimes used a little bit of the silver from the Brilliant palette. It does dry down, influenced by the colour underneath it though, which isn't necessarily terrible here. But if you wanted it a bright pop of white, you could use NYX's white liquid liner, but I find that has a tendency to crack and it would also take forever for such a big area. I added NYX's Jumbo pencil in Milk to my lower lash line, and a little tiny mandala that kind of got ruined later, you'll see why. The mandala design can be used for your advantage. I am using some of the mandalas on areas that I want to highlight, like my collarbones and cheeks. I do call them a mandala design, but they're kind of just swirls with overlapping designs. They're basically mandalas, but you could also just call them doodles. Now forgive me whitening my teeth, but I gotta try to offset the coffee I drink somehow. Just pretend it's a white glowing lollipop. I extended my eyes a little with a white wing from my lower lashes, then add a proper wing with black liquid liner from NYX. I also outlined each brow and lid, basically the monster eyes, with the black too. Then I like to run a black eyeliner through my lashes to help conceal the falsies later and try to make my winged eyeliner area solid black. Otherwise you'll find there's little bits of skin gaps between your lashes. Now we're onto the monster side or UV side. Yes, this is a UV gel nail lamp before you ask. I'm adding pink horns to the headdress and then adding some more neon blue over some of the pink since it was really obvious. Then more non-neon pink to the headdress to conceal the horns a little. The horns didn't really work, but it was worth a try. You don't really need to do this. Then I took out my bleach lollipop and tried some crazy filigree contacts to match with the design, but this one eye was not having it that day, so I take them out later and kind of ruin the little under eye mandala. Also, the bleach lollipop is a joke. Please don't take me seriously. Look at me. This is not a serious person. I added mascara to my upper and lower lashes and removed the contacts since that eye was being so rude. To make the eyebrows and eyelid eyes, I take the neon pink UV paint from Global and I add it to the center of my eye, lid area and brows, leaving a little slit for this slit-eyed monster effect. I make sure the slit is clear of UV with some more Mehron Brilliant Pink, which is not UV. Then for the rest of the UV design involves trying to colour match the UV paints to the non-UV and patting out anything too bright and kind of blending it out. For my nose, I mix neon pink and neon blue to make a kind of purple to match the base, and added 2 nostril slits for the monster, tapping it out and blending over it with eyeshadow if it's still too prominent. The mouth is a mix of neon pink and non-neon red with neon yellow from Suva Beauty near the orangey parts. I outline the lips, adding lip lines and tapping it out so it's not too obvious. You can still see it in normal light, but unless you were really looking, kind of looks more like you've just failed to blend very well, rather than an obvious monster mouth. I also added cheek wrinkles, but they aren't super visible, so using a little more UV yellow and white in the mix, I outline the monster's chin. This won't align fully with your neck and jawline, and the teeth is the same colour mix. I just outlined triangles trailing back into the jaw and added a tiny touch more yellow for some smaller teeth that are layered in front and to outline some of the teeth that were a little too blurry. Then for wells, I added a spider dangling from the vulva. You can't see it really well with this teeth whitening light on camera, but it did make it a lot clearer for me to see to outline this spider. Obviously, as I am painting anything UV, I pretty much bring up a UV lamp pretty constantly to make sure that I can see what it will look like under UV light, and then I take it away to see what it looks like under normal light. I then added some more spiders to my shoulders, my wig, and we're done. I hope you liked this, guys. I would love to see this idea more. I haven't seen many hidden UV design looks and I love the concept. I want to do so many more in the future, hopefully with a proper blacklight and not just a nail lamp. Tag me if you use this or any of my tutorials on Instagram, Twitter, etc. All my social media links are in the description below, and while you're down there, why not hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and maybe just the notification bell, just maybe, if you want to. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I love you all, and stay classy, peeps.